What is up, you guys? Coasterstar Beast09 finally back here to do a new video for you. As you may remember, I had mentioned that things were getting a little hectic in life, in my personal life and whatnot, and certain things were happening, and so I was going to be MIA for a little bit. Those things have happened. We welcomed our baby boy into the world. His name is William, and he is asleep right outside the room right now. I finally have some time to do a video. So I wanted to do a couple videos today, but I just wanted to give you guys that update. We had the baby, he's healthy, he's safe, he's great. Thanks for your patience. And now it's time for me to do a list video, one that I've seen a lot of people doing right now for obvious reasons, being the beginning of the new year. And that video that I want to do is my top 10 movies of 2019. Now, I want to preface by saying there's some movies I didn't see because they're just not my cup of tea. And so this is all opinion based. You're not going to see Endgame in here. I'm not a Marvel guy, never have been. If you are, more power to you. I just never saw it, never had the desire to. There's a couple movies, bigger tentpole movies, John Wick, stuff like that. Haven't seen any of those. Just based off of what I've seen and what I saw in 2019, what are my 10 favorite movies? Some of them I own, some of them are not out yet. Some of them just came out on Blu-ray. But I've seen every one of them, most of them multiple times, and here's my list. Coming in at number 10, we have Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, starring Zac Efron as the immortal Ted Bundy. Not immortal, but you know what I mean. Basically, I was intrigued with this movie when they announced it, and it was totally different than I expected, and I think I liked it more because I had set it up to be, this kind of like what you see in crime series where it's like, we're going to get in depth with all of his murders and we're going to see this evil side of him, when in reality it was like a character study on Ted Bundy, which I thought was really cool. You got to know him, you got to see him play his mind games on everyone, and how he just was a force in and of himself and took over the media. He was smart, funny, charismatic, good looking, and the movie really, really nails that home. And it's like, it does a great job of going, wow, you actually kind of start to believe him a little bit. Obviously, he's lying, but it's like, Zac Efron does a great job making you kind of believe that maybe he's telling the truth. So I just thought it was a really cool character study on Ted Bundy and getting, inside the mind of him and kind of subverting your expectations from what you normally see with a movie about a serial killer. So that comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is the remake of Pet Sematary. Yes, I don't know if I did a review on this or not, guys. If I haven't, I will. Believe me, it's something that I definitely want to do because I dig the movie. Just got this for Christmas, actually. I was going to pick it up myself, but like I said, having a baby, saving for a baby, I didn't really want to dedicate too much time and money to other things. So thank the Lord for Christmas, right? Pet Sematary is great, in my opinion, because, again, different. In the age of remakes and reboots and rehashing all of these old stories, a lot of filmmakers find themselves making the mistake of trying to do the same thing over again, but trying to do it better than the director before them. And you just don't want to do that because that movie is there for a reason. So if you're going to take that property, kind of do your own thing with it. And they did. No spoilers in this, guys. I'm just going to tell you my quick thoughts on the movies. There's a nice twist in here, and there's two nice twists in here that are totally different than the original movie. So absolutely dug this movie. Very, very, very solid remake. I would check it out. It almost even doesn't even really feel like a remake because of some of the differences. So awesome movie. Coming in at number 8 is a movie that came out at the beginning of the year. So it's been a while since I talked about this one, and that would be Happy Death Day to You. Yes, I did do a review on this. I know you guys that follow my channel absolutely saw that. Happy Death Day 2U, in my opinion, was just so much fun. I loved the first movie after not having had, avoiding it in the theater and then seeing it when it was out. And I was like, wow, that didn't suck. So really was excited to see this, and I was not let down. A little less horror than the first one, you know, slasher. There's about half slasher elements, and the other half is like sci-fi comedy. But I loved it because, again, what I was just talking about with Pet Sematary, although this is not a remake, you can find yourself getting stuck in the same tropes. And I loved that it wasn't that way. They did not stick to a script. It wasn't, oh, well, since the first was a straight up slasher, this is going to be the same thing over and over again. No, it really wasn't. It was really cool. I enjoyed the take on it. And my God, Jessica Rothe as Tree is fantastic. That woman deserves more roles because she nails it in this movie as well. So Happy Death Day 2U, coming in at number 8. Number 7 is one I don't have yet, but I'm actually going to buy this weekend when I get paid, and that is Child's Play, the remake of Child's Play. And again, with Pet Sematary, we had a really good year of remakes where they weren't too on the nose and too carbon copy of the original. And that bodes well for all of us movie fans. Child's Play 2019 did things very different, and at the same time keeping the spirit of the original. We got to see more of a relationship with Chucky and Andy. We got to see some really cool kills. We got to see a lot of I would say, more realistic ways that this could happen. Not saying it's realistic, but when you talk about Child's Play, which I love the Child's Play franchise, it's one of my favorites. I believe I've talked about that on here, but it was cool to see them go a more modern route with it. Trying not to get into too much if you guys haven't seen it. I know a lot of people were butthurt about it being remade. Guys, we have to accept that everything's gonna get remade now. We can either go into it with an open mind or shit on it from day one. I'm glad this movie made money. It was a success, critically and commercially, because it needed to be, because I was tired of hearing the droves of people complaining about a movie they hadn't even seen. Sorry. I have to listen, you know, for the baby in case he starts crying, and then I gotta pause the video. Anyway, so yeah, loved what they did with Child's Play 2019. That comes in at number 7. And again, if you see it and you don't like it, awesome. That is fair, but we need to stop hating movies that we haven't even seen just because we think we're going to hate it. Not fair to do. Coming in at number 6 is another one I do not own yet, but I should because I saw it 3 times in the theater, and that is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Loved Detective Pikachu. I had never played the DS game, and I guess it mirrors the game. Never played the game, so I went into it open-minded, not knowing what to expect. I loved Pokemon growing up. I had a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance, and then a DS. And it was one of my favorite shows. I actually just went back a couple months ago and rewatched all the original seasons up until they changed the voice actors. So it was like 200 episodes or something. And it was awesome. I'm 25 years old, and I have no shame whatsoever in that. So, but I just loved it. The heart of it at its core. Ryan Reynolds is hilarious in anything he does ever. Justice Smith did really good, and I like how, again, subverting expectations. It wasn't just all about Pokemon battling, but you do get a really, really cool one toward the end of the movie, too. So there was enough there for old fans and then bringing in new fans, and I loved it. It was awesome to see Pokemon back on the big screen. Coming in at number 5. Sorry, I had to look at my list. Coming in at number 5 is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. This came out 3 weeks ago. I've seen it twice in theaters so far. I haven't done a Star Wars ranking video. I think I'm going to do that. I feel like that's very important for a Star Wars fan. I don't know how many Star Wars fans I have on this channel. I know I talk a lot about horror, but love Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker was great. It was very enjoyable. It was definitely for the fans. I feel like it could have I don't know, it was a little condensed into one movie. Screw you, Disney, for that. But it's just a fun time. You get questions answered that you want answered, whether you like the answer or not. You get the questions answered. You get to see an entirely new but old take on a character. You know what I'm trying to say. There's some twists, there's some turns, there's some things that are unexpected. There's great lightsaber duels. There's great space battles. Really, really, really just a all-around super solid Star Wars movie. And with it being one of my most anticipated movies of the year, you know, obviously it was going to land on this list somewhere. Coming in at number 4 is another movie I got for Christmas. Thank you, Christmas. And that is It Chapter 2. Yes, I know, before everybody comes at me and tries to tear my head off, because so many people shit on this movie because they said they liked it, but it wasn't as good as Chapter 1. Well, I am here to tell you I disagree with that wholeheartedly. That is my opinion. I read the book front to back, and boy, was it a journey. I obviously own the miniseries, grew up on the miniseries, saw It Chapter 1 in theaters 3 times, and I only saw this in theaters once. It's a very long movie. I watched it on Christmas night, actually, because I was like, I gotta watch it. I haven't seen it in a couple months. I love it. It needed to be 3 hours, so it being right around 3 hours was perfect. I felt like the adult losers really actually had a nice chemistry. I really liked them. They all looked very close to who they were supposed to be playing as adults. Pennywise was definitely darker in this one. I know a lot of people say you didn't get as much of him. I don't really know what the count on screen time is, you know, one to the other, but he's definitely darker in this one because he's angry. And I just thought it was a super, super good conclusion to the first one and the entire story as a whole. I just enjoy this movie better. And I love it. I love it. You know I do. I've talked about it at length, but I like this one a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like with kid actors are great, and I love kid actors. Stranger Things, they did fantastic. But when you get this ensemble cast of really big names, they're probably gonna knock it out of the park. And not only do they knock it out of the park, but their chemistry is there in spades. So it's really hard for me I feel like that's the reason I like it a little bit more, is just because, and also they corrected the horrible ending of the miniseries. I mean, it's still not a fantastic ending in this one. If you've seen it, the very end, you know, the climax, it's like, but it's better than the miniseries. So clocking in at number 4 is It Chapter 2. And real quick, before I get into my top 3, I just wanted to let you guys know that I actually spoke to Andy Muschietti last night. I have it officially from him that they are working on another story for it, but they cannot talk about it yet. I have the screenshotted conversation. I've already spoken to someone at bloodydisgusting.com. If you guys know it's a horror news website. I've already spoken to them. I've provided them with the conversation evidence. We've been in touch back and forth. That person is now reaching out to Andy Muschietti to try to get more before they drop a story or whatever. So I just wanted to let you guys know. True story. His exact words were, yes, but I can't talk about it yet. I'm sorry. So I am thinking it's going to be a prequel to Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, obviously, and it's going to have more of Pennywise's origin stories, because when you make over $1.2 billion combined with 2 R-rated horror movies on a shoestring budget, and you got a guy like Bill Skarsgård who was born to play the role, how can you not? How can you not find a way to continue that if there is a story there? So I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I just wanted to drop that little tidbit with you guys. You know, I'm stirring the pot. I'm trying to do my own detective work, but it was great. I've talked to Andy a couple times. Super nice guy. Has always been upfront with me every time I've ever asked him anything. He really is a nice guy. If you guys get the chance to ever meet him or talk to him, he's a great guy. So I just wanted to let you know there was more It on the way. So let's cross our fingers for the official announcement soon. All right. Coming in at number 3 is... Now this top 3 was really, really hard for me. But coming in at number 3 is Godzilla King of the Monsters. Don't know if I talked to you guys about this, but my God, I love this movie. Another movie I saw 3 times in theaters. Should have made more at the box office. Shame on you, for not going out and seeing this, guys. I mean, it made twice its budget, and there is another one coming out this year, so I guess it's crying over spilled milk, but still, this is fantastic. It is fantastic. I mean, I can't put into words how much I love this movie. I'm a huge fan of the MonsterVerse. I love what they've built. I love what they're doing. And I cannot wait to see Godzilla vs. Kong this year. But this movie is incredible. Everything you loved about Godzilla 2014, bringing Godzilla kind of back to form, is improved upon in this. Not only do you have that same Godzilla, but you have these classic monsters, this just entire free-for-all of good versus evil, of a battle for dominance. I mean, it is badass. And Godzilla is badass. And Ghidorah is like one of the coolest villains ever. The visual effects in this are incredible. I really like the cast. There's less time spent with the human characters than in Godzilla 2014. Thank God, because that was my one complaint about 2014. But there is enough time with them where you get to know them, where you get to care about them. But it's just a visual masterpiece. If you're a Godzilla fan, it has everything you ever wanted. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Can't wait for Godzilla vs. Kong. Long live the king, bitches. Great movie. All right. Number 2, a movie I do not own, just came out on Blu-ray, Joker. Yes, Joker comes in at number 2. Up until I saw another movie, that was my number 1. When I was planning this in my head near the end of the year, I was like, Joker's probably number 1, but it lands at number 2 for me. I love it. It's gritty. It's dark. It's an amazing character study on the mentally ill. Joaquin Phoenix is incredible. I love Heath Ledger's Joker. I would have to see Joker with Joaquin a couple more times, but part of me is like, he's definitely rivaling Heath Ledger. And especially if they make another one, since unfortunately we never got to see Heath Ledger in the role for multiple movies. If Joaquin can deliver again in a sequel, we're probably talking about maybe the greatest Joker we've ever had. But just a truly beautifully tragic movie. A nice character study on society, on how we treat the mentally ill, and how, as he says in the movie, you get what you deserve. You get what you deserve when you push people around like that, when you suppress the downtrodden, when you ignore the 99%. Essentially, it's a social commentary, and it's incredible. I loved the movie from start to finish. It starts off super sad. You feel so bad for the guy. And as the movie goes on, you don't even feel bad. You don't even feel bad when he turns to the Joker. You're like, yeah, you guys got what was coming to you. So Joker comes in at number 2. And I'm pretty sure my baby's waking up. So this is perfect timing for me to get to number 1. Coming in at number 1, my favorite movie of 2019. What is it? I'll tell you what it is. Dr. Sleep. Yes, Dr. Sleep. Stephen King's Dr. Sleep is my favorite movie of 2019. Let me tell you something really quick. I went into this movie. I was excited when I first heard about it. I saw the trailers. I didn't know what to think. I was like, this is kind of weird. I've never read the book, so I don't know what to expect. So I would say that my excitement kind of dwindled a little bit, not gonna lie. Went and saw this movie. Immersed myself for 2.5 hours in this world. Incredible. Best movie of 2019, in my opinion. I wish more people would have gone and seen it to make it a box office success. It wasn't a bomb, but it didn't do great. And that's a bummer because Dr. Sleep is fantastic. I mean, it is super, super good. I can't wait to get the 3-hour director's cut with extended scenes and added footage and whatnot. It's going to be incredible. Ewan McGregor as Danny Torrance is fantastic. It doesn't rely too much on nostalgia or doing what you've seen before, which I loved. I thought that I wouldn't have minded if we were at the Overlook for most of the movie, but The Overlook is only there in the climax. It makes sense to the story. It looks exactly the same. I mean, they got everything to the last detail. I mean, it's fantastic. I could go all day about this movie. I've only seen it once, but man, it stays in your head. But yeah, the acting is great. Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat is fantastic as the villain. The chemistry between Abra, the kid, and Ewan McGregor was fantastic. Just an all-around awesome movie. Dr. Sleep, easily my favorite movie of 2019. Probably one of my favorites of the decade. Might do a list like that. We shall see. My baby's awake. So I'm going to cut this video short, guys. Thanks for watching. I will be back with another video today. Coasters RB Stone 9 signing off.